Shabbat Shalom. Welcome back to the Light to the Nations channel. You know, we're starting with in a funny way because I don't know what's happening with the computer that we are missing the intro. Let me see if I can play it because I like it so much. You know, we put a lot of effort to put this beautiful one. So let me try to do it again. So here we go. Here we go, Shabbat Shalom once again. And it's so nice to hear, you know, the shofar, because it's like the shofar calling us to get this gathering done and to start studying the word of YaHuWaH, to continue with the cycle of this book of Bereshit. Today is the portion Toldot, that it means generations, and is in the chapter 25 till chapter 28. I want to apologize for the short notice of changing once again the schedule of today's portion. It was, I think it was a very busy week and very tough week because of a lot of things we were doing, and we needed more time this morning in order to start study properly the portion. To see what we are going to share with you all today. So I hope this is not cause any trouble to any of you, and then somehow
because
allow somebody to join as well, somebody else.
We want to be on the schedule, but sometimes it's not possible. So
yeah, we are doing for those of you that have joined the other channel, we have our natural land. You can see that we are doing a lot of things here in this property, and I think we are quite delayed on the
a year
a year late
on the updates
on the updates of what we're doing here. And you will see in the coming videos, most probably, for those of you that are there, what we have been doing in this place, and we are doing it most of the activities by ourselves.
Yeah, that's why we have a lot of work.
So you know, yesterday we were doing something so heavy. And I was sweating like crazy, and I didn't tell you this, that why I was sweating. I was remember what is written in the book of Bereshit with the curse to Adam, that by the sweat of his face, he needed to get the bread, and I was experiencing this on my own, you know, sweating like crazy. But you know, we're so happy that we are able to do this project, to share some of the things that we're doing. Actually, you are in charge of this one that are uploading the videos. And also we are happy to be here once again with you to share the portion, today's portion.
The preparation for our spiritual home. So it's even more important.
That's the more critical activity we have to do every day. So, you know, I see 31 of you connected. Thank you so much. I see many names there. Sometimes I see new names in the chat. This is also a blessing. We are so blessed and so happy to have the chance to partake this time with you in Shabbat. I don't see Karen in the chat yet. Hope that she will join us. But Karen also was sharing with us an invitation to join some studies on Friday. Thank you, Karen. We will try to do it at least once a month. Any time or every opportunity, I would say, that we all have to share with other believers, and especially with the purpose to study the word of YaHuWaH, is a blessing, and it's something that we need to take. We're not gonna touch this point most probably in the portion today. It's gonna come most probably in the next one. But we were discussing a few minutes ago, when we were still preparing the portion of today, that about Saul and Jacob. And I see this happening in the world today in two groups basically in the world today. And that's why, when we have and these two groups are so opposite in the way they are, in the way they think, and so on, that's why it's so important that every time that we have the chance to be with like-minded people and to spend time even virtually, I think we need to take the chances and do it, because it's food for the spirit, it's food for the heart. I'm speaking too much, and you are too quiet. You
No,
want to
we
say
have
something?
a lot to share during the portion. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And the numbers continue growing. It's 35 at this point. So this is really, really nice. I'm gonna ask something that I never asked in the past. I don't like to do it because that's not the purpose of doing this channel. But I'm gonna ask each one of you to like this video, because this in the way this platform work, it seems that much more likes you have, is much easier for this video to be shared with more people. And just a clarification that is important to mention, because most of the people that are asking to subscribe and also to like the videos, most of them, because they're monetizing the videos. This platform allows to do this. We're not doing this in Light to the Nations. We are not called to do that. And that's why I mentioned this clarification, because the only reason that I'm asking you to like the video is in order to help somehow to spread the word. That's the only purpose. So I see 36 connected. So if you help us by liking this video, you are gonna be contributing somehow on spreading everything that we're sharing here in this channel, and especially, and the most importantly, contributing, spreading the word of YaHuWaH to other people that maybe they are in need to hear these messages. So like always, let's start with a song. Let's see what we have prepared for today, and let's enjoy the music, and let's enjoy the worship. Let's enjoy the praises to YaHuWaH, and let's do it together. Let's praise YaHuWaH with all our heart before starting the study today. So let's listen to this. Here we go. What a beautiful song, you know. And this, who is this one that is keeping and guarding Israel, who never slumber nor sleep? That's Yahushua HaMashiach, is our Melech, our King. So with this spirit, I will invite you to close your eyes and let's pray together to YaHuWaH. Abba Kadosh, YaHuWaH Eloheinu, we want to give thanks to you in this Shabbat, in this new day, in this new week, where we have the opportunity to gather together in this platform, in this time, with the whole purpose to seek your face, to study your word, to get closer to you and knowing you, Abba. We know that through your word, you reveal to us, you reveal yourself to us. And we want to separate this time and this day to you in obedience to your covenant, in obedience to your Torah, your commandments. But not only because of obedience, because of love for you. YaHuWaH Elohim, we invite you in this moment to be with us, that your Ruach can guide us in this study, that you can give us of your food, that you can give us of the water, that you can sustain our lives with your promises, that you can make us understand what you want to teach us. In this moment, Abba, we pray for your people Israel around the world, that you can sustain us in this time that we are living, that you can strengthen our faith, that you can help us in order to endure until the end, that you can touch those that are in sickness, going through sickness, that you can heal their bodies, that you can go through those that are in facing problems and difficulties, that you can open the doors for them to get out of the situation they are going through, that you can give peace in those that are in trouble, You can give joy for those that are with sadness. We know that in you, O YaHuWaH, we find plenty of life. In you and only in you, we have fullness of life. Especially in this time, Abba, we pray for the family of Shannon's husband. They just saw the chat, Abba, and they're going through a difficult moment. I ask you in this moment, Abba, to bring peace, bring shalom, to bring hope to their hearts. It's so great in the way, Abba, that you bring joy and you bring your shalom, even in those times that we are not seeking them. And through minimal things like your creation, you are bringing joy to men's and women's heart. And we ask you, Abba, that in this moment you do this for that family, that you bring that shalom and that hope and that joy in their hearts, knowing that only in you we have that peace and we have that expectation of a better life in your kingdom. We invite you in this moment, and we ask you that you can guide our words, our minds, our thoughts, and especially that you can guide our hearts in order to be like you are, in order to seek your face continually with the priority in our lives and in our hearts. Thank you, Abba, for being with us. We pray to you in this moment, in Yahushua's name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, so let's start with the study. I think we will discuss a few interesting things today. Let's see what the Ruach is bringing to our hearts. So let me share the screen. And I haven't shared the part in 60 seconds, so let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see the part in 60 seconds.
Shalom and welcome to Parsha in 60 Seconds. Today's portion is from Genesis 25:19, 28:9. It is called Toldot, which means generations. Isaac married Rebekah, and she was barren. Isaac prayed, and God allowed Rebekah to conceive. Since birth, the twins fought for first place, but God said the older would serve the younger. Isaac loved Esau because of his hunting skills, but Rebekah loved Jacob, who was a mama's boy. Jacob traded a bowl of stew for Esau's birthright. During a famine, Isaac settled in Gerar, and like his father Abraham, told the men that Rebekah was his sister. Abimelech called his bluff and protected them. Isaac's wealth caused many problems with the locals, and they moved away. Isaac went to Beersheba and met with God. While there, Abimelech came and made an oath with Isaac. Esau married 2 Hittite women, causing bitterness for Isaac and Rebekah. Isaac was old and had lost his sight. He sent Esau hunting and intended to give him the innermost blessing before he died. Rebekah overheard and helped Jacob trick Isaac into receiving Esau's blessing. They used baby goat skin and Esau's clothes to disguise Jacob, and Rebekah prepared a dish. After tricking his father, Jacob was blessed by Isaac. Under threat of death, Jacob ran away. Esau realized that the Canaanite woman displeased Isaac, and Esau married Ishmael's daughter. And that is Toldot in 60 seconds.
Okay, so let's begin with this study. So, as I said, this is generations starting in chapter 25, verse 19 till chapter 28. So, I think this is a very short part, so let me read it. Or you want to read it?
No, read.
Okay, so let's do it. Everything is in order. Okay, so here we go. It says, and this is the genealogy of Yitzhak, Abraham's son. Abraham brought forth Yitzhak. And Yitzhak was 40 years old when he took Rivkah as wife, the daughter of Betuel the Aramean, of Padam Aram, the sister of Laban the Aramean. And Yitzhak prayed to YaHuWaH for his wife, because she was barren. And YaHuWaH answered his prayer, and Rivkah, his wife, conceived. And within her the children struggled together, and she said, if all is right, why am I this way? So she went to ask YaHuWaH. And YaHuWaH said to her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples shall be separated from your body, and 1 people shall be stronger than the other, and the older serve the younger. And when the days were filled for her to give birth, and see, twins were in her womb, and the first came out red all over, like a hairy garment. So they called his name Esau, or Esau. And afterward his brother came out, with his hand holding on Esau's heel. So his name was called Yaakov. And Yitzhak was 60 years old when she bore them. And the boys grew up, and Esau became a man knowing how to hunt, a man of the field, while Yaakov was a complete man, dwelling in tents. And Yitzhak loved Esau because he ate of his wild game, but Rivka loved Yaakov. And Yaakov cooked a stew. Actually, let's read this. It's just a few verses. And Esau came in from the field, and he was weary. And Esau said to Yaakov, please feed me with that same red stew, for I am weary. That is why his name was called Edom. But Yaakov said, sell me your birthright today. And Esau said, look, I am going to die, so why should I have birthright? Then Yaakov said, swear to me today. And he swore to him, and sold his birthright to Yaakov. Yaakov then gave Esau bread and stew of lentils, and he ate and drank, and rose up and left. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Oof. We have a lot of things, I think, to talk about here. You want to start first?
Well, about the difference between the brothers.
Okay.
And, well, before that, even before that, it was that it's really, it called my attention that two generations had the same problem, barren women. And, well, it says that it was solved, or they received the help from YaHuWaH because they asked for help from Abba. And I think that that's the most beautiful thing, because nowadays we have forgot to do that. I was sharing the other day, I don't know, with Camila, with my sister, that we have put so much our hope in medicine and some other people's doing, that we have forgot, or we have taken away our Father from the picture. And He is the one solving our problems. He's the one solving our issues. Even though we are sick, we could have been suffering from in the work situation and any kind of stuff. If we go to Him and we present our problem to Him, He's going to open a door. And you were sharing with me the other version in Jovelim, that everybody was praying because of...
Actually, it's not in Joelin, and it's part of my notes, and I would like to read it because I think it gives us an additional context, if I may.
Yeah.
And actually, my first point here, I was taking a note, and even we didn't exchange
No, we haven't shared our notes.
It was exactly this, is that we need to go first to YaHuWaH. That's He is the one that is providing healing. He is the one providing answers. Actually, in the book of Yasher, I have this version from the Hallelujah Scriptures. It's in the chapter 26. And let me read it because I think it's a beautiful extension of what happened during that time. And it says the following: And in the 59th year of the life of Yitzhak, son of Abraham, Rivka his wife was still barren in those days. And Rivka said to Yitzhak, truly I have heard, my master, that your mother Sarah was barren in her days, until my master Abraham, your father, prayed for her, and she conceived by him. Now therefore stand up, pray also to Elohim, and he will hear your prayer and remember us through his compassions. And Yitzhak answered his wife, Rivka, saying, I remember this part with the answer that Elkanah gave to Hannah.
To Hannah.
It was a kind of straightforward. It wasn't a bad intention, but it's a straightforward answer. It depends on how you look into it. So let's see what he said. Yitzhak answered his wife Rivka, saying, Abraham has already prayed for me to Elohim to multiply his seed. Now, therefore, this barrenness to us must proceed from you. So it's not my fault, it's your fault.
But, what is the answer of Rivka?
And Rivka said to him, but arise now also and pray, that YaHuWaH may hear your prayer and grant me children. And Yitzhak listened to the words of his wife. And Yitzhak and his wife rose up and went to the land of Moriah to pray there and to seek YaHuWaH. And when they had reached that place, Yitzhak stood up and prayed to YaHuWaH for the sake of his wife, because she was barren. And Yitzhak said, O YaHuWaH, Elohim of the Shamayim and earth, whose goodness and compassions fill the earth, you who took my father from his father's house and from his birthplace, and brought him to this land, and said to him, to your seed I will give this land. And you promised him and declared to him, I will multiply your seed as the stars of the Shamayim and as the sand of the sea. Now, may your words be verified, which you spoke to my father. For you are YaHuWaH, our Elohim. Our eyes are toward you to give us seed of man, as you promised us. For you are YaHuWaH, our Elohim, and our eyes are directed toward you alone. And YaHuWaH heard the prayer of Yitzhak, son of Abraham. And YaHuWaH was entreated of him, and Rivka, his wife, conceived. And in about 7 months after, the children struggled together within her, and it pained her greatly, so that she was worried because of them. And she said to all the women who were then in the land, did such a matter come upon you as it has to me? And they said to her, no. And she said to them, why am I alone in this among all the women that are on earth? And she went to the land of Moriah to seek YaHuWaH because of this. And she went to Shem and Eber, his son, to make inquires of them in this matter, and that they should seek YaHuWaH in this matter respecting her. And yes, I'm reading from Yasher chapter 26. And she also asked Abraham to seek and inquire of YaHuWaH about all that had befallen her. And they all inquired of YaHuWaH concerning this matter. And they brought her word from YaHuWaH and told her, two children are in your womb, and 2 nations shall rise from them, and 1 nation shall be stronger than the other, and the greater shall serve the younger. Let's keep it until there. So I am fully in agreement with you. I think the first thing that I see here is that they have a problem. They have issues. They wanted to have children. Let's put it in this way, that they were going through difficulties, or they were going through sickness. The first thing they did is to go to YaHuWaH, is to pray to YaHuWaH for deliverance and for answers. I cut you on the middle of the idea, but
no, it's okay. And usually, I don't know if it has happened to you also. Sometimes there are people who are going through needs, and they tell you, "Can you please pray for me because I don't know, because you can help me in this." But usually, what we should do, yes, we can pray together. We can, because there are some people who believe, but they think that YaHuWaH is not answering them. And it is not because of that. We can accompany them in prayer, but always YaHuWaH is going to answer if the person who is affected is going to be the requester of the petition.
Actually, I have few notes that is going directly to what you said. And in the picture that we see in the book of Yasher here, of Rivka going to Shem and Eber, that they were, we were looking into the timeline, and they were alive, even after Abraham died. So they have an extended, longer life. And she went to Abraham as well to seek YaHuWaH's face.
And that's talk a lot about.
And that's a picture of something.
Yeah, and it's talk about a lot about her, I don't know, spirit that she didn't finish there when nothing was happening, on when she was not getting answer.
You can get used, this is happening to me, I'm gonna stay like that only.
No, she was a person who wanted to have an answer until she received it.
So let me share a few passages here. Let's go to the book of Exodus, Shemot, chapter 15. In the verse 26, we have a specific promise from YaHuWaH that it says the following. And he said, YaHuWaH said, if you diligently obey the voice of YaHuWaH your Elohim and do what is right in his eyes, and keep attention, because there are few conditions that we need to meet in order to get the promise. So let me read it again. If you diligently obey the voice of YaHuWaH your Elohim, so obedience, and do what is right in his eyes, doing righteousness, or putting righteousness, or living according to the righteousness of YaHuWaH, and shall listen to his command, and shall guard all his laws. So listen is an active listening. So basically it's to listen and doing. And shall guard all his laws. Guard is mean to keep, is to put in practice, is to live according to that. I shall bring on you none of the diseases I brought on the Misrites, the Egyptians. But it's true that he is promising that he's not going to bring the same diseases, but the way that he's ending this passage is a lot of promises to us, because he says, for I am YaHuWaH who heals you. And this is exactly going in alignment to what Abraham did, what Yitzhak did, what Rivka believed and did, is that to go first to YaHuWaH Elohim, because YaHuWaH is the one who heals us, because he is the one who has created us. And I don't know why we're talking about this, because, even we were reading together before, but we took notes separately, and we didn't even exchange the notes.
Yeah. But we
are talking a similar thing, and that's not a coincidence. It's because maybe somebody needs this word. So if you are that body that needs this word, you need to take hold fast, very strongly, to the promises of YaHuWaH, that he is the one who is healing us,
and he can show you the reason. And he can show you also the way how to feel better, how to be healed.
There is another passage in one of the prophets that is important here, and is so connected to the promise of YaHuWaH in the book of Shemot. And this is in the book of Malachi. This is Malachi in Hebrew, Malachi, chapter 4. And let me read the 1 and 2. It says the following. For look, the day shall come burning like a furnace, and all the proud and every wrongdoer shall be stubble. And the day that shall come shall burn them up, said YaHuWaH Sebaot, which leaves to them neither root nor branch. And then this is connected to what we were discussing, and maybe for next week. But to you, and listen, because this is the promise, but to you who fear my name, so fear the name of YaHuWaH. In the fear of YaHuWaH is the beginning of wisdom, and everything is connected. The fear of YaHuWaH, the wisdom of YaHuWaH, the commandments of YaHuWaH, the obedience, everything, is connected to the kingdom. So, but to you who fear my name, the Son of Righteousness shall arise with healing in his wings, and you shall go out and leap for joy like calves from the stall. So, the Son of Righteousness, Yahushua HaMashiach, is the Son of Righteousness. And but everything begins with the fear of YaHuWaH, is to walk according to his ways, is to seek his face first. And why I put this passage? Because, when I was reading this story of Rivka having the same feelings and thoughts like you, I saw immediately a picture of Mashiach.
Yeah, you told me.
Because Rivka, what she did, she went to seek the face of YaHuWaH for healing. We see so many stories in the Brit Hadashah, in the New Testament, of people with need going to Mashiach for healing. And Mashiach was there with the compassion, Yahushua, with compassion, he was healing people. In the same way that we see in the promise here on the book of Malachi. And the point, the last point that I wanted to make is that we see in this connection, an additional picture, we see this connection that Rivka going to YaHuWaH, people going to Yahushua, but Rivka also going to the servants of YaHuWaH at the time.
And
to Abraham.
Until the beginning of, from the older ones.
So. Yeah, the one that they knew actually was Shem, the son of Noah. He was receiving directly from Noah, and we know that Noah was a
A righteous
a
man.
man, yeah, a servant of righteousness. And so he was receiving the words directly from Noah. So she went to him according to the book of Yasher. And that's a picture of what we have been called by YaHuWaH himself. Let's go just to show an evidence of that is in the book of Matthew chapter 10, when the Messiah sent the disciples, the 12, to go and spread the word. And he gave an special instruction in the verse 8 saying, heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out demons. You have received without pain, give without being paid. So it's a picture of what we should be doing in these times. When we seek the face of YaHuWaH, we need to do it by ourselves in prayer and fasting. We need to go to him first, but also with his servants. And who is the servant of YaHuWaH? I think it's in a different concept of what we see in Christianity, that we have the pastors or we have the bishops or whatever title you want to put. I think all of us are servants of YaHuWaH. All of us, we have different roles maybe, but even that we have a different responsibilities or different roles, we are all servants of YaHuWaH.
If he is our Elohim, if we walk in his way, we are his servants.
So if you're going through difficulties, I think the attitude we need to make is exactly the attitude of these people from the past. We need to seek YaHuWaH in these ways directly, but also we need to go to our fellow servants and ask for them to pray for us, to intercede for us. Actually, it's interesting the way that it's written in the book of Yasher, because none of them, not even Abraham, gave a direct answer to Rivka. All of them took the request of Rivka,
and they prayed together.
And they prayed. They started to seek the face of YaHuWaH
until she got the answer.
And actually, they confirmed the answer to Rivka. All of them, they received the answer, and they were providing the answer to Rivka. So that's the way that we need to act as a family. That's the way that we need to act as a fellow servants. We need to take care for one another. We need to pray for one another. And in the same way that the people were going to YaHuWaH, and in the times of Messiah, people were going to Mashiach for healing, we need to do exactly the same. Go directly to YaHuWaH, but also to our fellow servants. Something that happens, I don't know, what do you think on this, is that sometimes we don't believe. We don't believe that this commandment we see here, that we need to heal the sick, need to cleanse the leper, raise the dead, cast out demons. And we focus only on the studying, but then not doing. Do you think it's lack of belief?
I don't know if it's lack of belief. I think that sometimes maybe I think that for healing or for having that kind of miracles or situations, you have to how you said, you have to meet two requirements. One is that you believe that is going to happen. The other part is that the person who is affected, he has to believe also that something is going to happen. If one of those are missing, and also is the will, if it's the will of YaHuWaH, because we don't know, maybe he has a purpose that some people are suffering. Because I don't know if you have experienced that, but when you are suffering is when the most you are close with the Father. And when everything is okay in your life, it's so easy to start, I don't know, like start feeling that disconnection, because you are more focused in your well-being, maybe, that you don't even notice when something is lacking. But when you are suffering from illness, when you're suffering from a grief, is then when you really kneel down, and when you are making prayers and you're approaching to our Father. So maybe sometimes I'm always thinking that maybe is also a tool from our Abba to get us close to him. So I don't know, sometimes we can pray, but what happens if we don't see the result as a miracles.
But that's the point, because it doesn't depend on us. We're just the vessels.
And maybe we have to do our part. And that
for sure. But when we think, or if we think that we are the one doing something, we are gonna fail miserably.
Yeah.
We're just vessels, because the only one that who do this is YaHuWaH. Is YaHuWaH himself. So maybe and this is an interesting discussion. We have talked about this in the past when we talk about missing miracles in these days, like the miracles that we read in the scriptures. And you always tell me that we have miracles every day, and you're absolutely right, because sometimes we don't notice those. We don't see those miracles, but every day we see a miracle happen. It's the same thing that YaHuWaH continues creating things. Every day he creates something. But these big miracles, as we read in the scripture, and these healings that Yahushua was doing, sometimes it's not so easy to see nowadays. So maybe it's not a lack of faith, as you said. Maybe it's a lack of empowerment. And let me explain myself. Lack of empowerment is basically not feeling, all of us not feeling that we have the power to be a vessel where YaHuWaH can heal people. And we can have belief, but if we don't feel empowered to do it, we won't do it. Let me give another example, using a story on the scripture. Moses in front of the Red Sea. He had faith. He was praying to YaHuWaH, and YaHuWaH was saying to him, "Why are you praying to me? Go and split the sea and do it." If he wasn't feeling empowered to do it, he was believing, but he was not feeling empowered to do it. He was not going to take the road and separate the sea. So I think I'm putting it in this way because sometimes it could be that we are ashamed, or it could be that we are doubting if it's what happened if nothing happened, or there's no result. That sometimes that empowerment that Yahushua is given to us here, as it's written in the book of Matthew, go and heal the sick. We're not going to do it. And maybe this is exactly what is lacking in these times. We have the direct instruction. Maybe sometimes we are afraid. We believe, but we are afraid, connected to the lack of empowerment. We have the empowerment directly from the Messiah, but maybe we are afraid. So the point is that I do believe at the point when we remove any fear, any lack of empowerment, of any lack of faith, and we act, and we do, is when we will start seeing those miracles. What do you think?
I think that it's also a kind of alignment with everything, because what happens if you have the belief in everything, the person has the belief, but you don't feel, because it's something that you feel. If you don't feel that YaHuWaH is pushing you to do something, you don't have to do it, because it's only you believe, the other person, but is missing the will of YaHuWaH. So it's like that you have the three components together, and when that happens, I think that it's the moment that you have to act, and you're going to be pushed to do it. But if not, you don't have to do it. So I don't know, sometimes I have seen, I have hearing of people who has been suffering, and I wish I could tell him, well, let's pray together, and YaHuWaH is going to do a miracle in your life. But they don't ask for that prayer. They don't say, yeah, I want to pray. So that means that that person is only continue living in the pain. So I think that the limit for that person has not been reached yet.
I have always think on this, is that it's like they say, what is first, the chicken or the egg, or the egg? Because I fully agree with you, is that when we see those cases and people don't believe, and people are not seeking YaHuWaH first, as we have been talking here, it's not because of they have not heard maybe the word and the miracles of YaHuWaH, maybe because they have not seen.
And it's not the moment yet.
So think on the situation of YaHuWaH himself. And I don't know where we are totally deviating somehow the portion, but it's because of a reason. Let's continue. I think it's good. We need to let the Ruach talk. YaHuWaH started doing miracles, and that's why people started to
believe.
To talk.
And to talk. Yeah.
To talk, and when people started to hear, they started to get closer to YaHuWaH. Not because of and we have many of these examples in the Brit New Testament, where people going to Messiah because of an interest, not because they wanted to follow, because they wanted to have the food, or because they wanted to receive some healings, not because they were compelling their heart to follow him.
It was a physical need.
It was a physical need. But the physical need, I fully agree, we don't have those details, but I fully believe that was transformed to a spiritual need, and most of those people
was
were
the result
following.
Of
was the result,
and
we have been talking here for a long time, is that the word is going in different levels, in a physical level, a spiritual, even an emotional level. You want to separate it somehow. And sometimes when we start with the physical, automatically works in the spiritual. And if we start in the spiritual, has been our case somehow, it results in a change in our physical world, in the way that we live. So both of them are going together. So when I said that what is first is the chicken or the egg, is that in order for those type of people to believe, they need to see. They need to see miracles happen. And for sure, it's not that it doesn't depend on us. It depends on what's the will of YaHuWaH. But we know that YaHuWaH manifests himself through his servants, meaning us. So in order for him to manifest himself, we need to do, and we need to let me rephrase what I started to say. If we are a servant, a righteous servant, we are going to do what our master is saying. If our master is giving an instruction, we need to hear and do. If we hear and we don't do, there's no way that he is going to manifest himself through the actions we are doing. Even in our jobs, if we have something in our job, our responsibility, we will do according to the responsibility we have been given. And I am a manager in my job, and all the time we managers, we say that we are the results of our team. If our team is doing and working and managing things and providing results, good results, it's gonna be good on us. It's gonna be good in me, because somehow their actions and their results will speak of me. The same thing happening with the Messiah. He is our master. We are his servants. If we do and we produce the results, through those results, he is going to manifest himself, and he is going to reveal who he is. So maybe this is exactly what we are lacking, is to do, no matter what's going to be the result. Because at the moment, when we start doing, he is going to manifest himself. People around, it's going to happen exactly the same as it happened when he was here and it's written in the Brit Hadashah. He's going to perform these signs and miracles, and people are going to start listening, and not listening only, seeing. And their faith is going to increase. I don't know, that's the way that I see it. Good? Well, anyways, I think I don't know why we spend too much on this, but it's something that is being in my heart time to time, and we need to act accordingly. So anything else? Let's go back to the portion. Anything else? Yes.
And that we were reading that it was Esau who was despising his birthright. That we have to have clear that. Remember that the other day we were talking. Yeah. He was hungry. He were coming back from going on a hunting on the field or battle, I don't know, and at that time when he was coming back to the house, he saw his brother was preparing food and everything, and he didn't bother even to thinking in the future. Maybe he said, well, I'm going to die and I'm so hungry that I want that I don't know, that dish. And it was nobody who was, I don't know, putting against a wall and with a gun in his head that was saying, yes, and sell me your birthright. No, he was doing that willingly. And that is something that we must consider, because a lot of people always said, well, is Yaakov who was doing, he was the deceiver and blah, blah, blah. But at the end, it was a promise that they have between them. So that is so important, that every time that we are going to do a covenant, a promise, or something, that we can that we can think about the consequence, about the implications, what we are really promising, what we are really swearing about. It says that we don't have to swear. If we are going to promise something, we have to fulfill it. So that is something that I want to, so we can, because we are going to see it in the future.
That's a good point. You know, something that I forgot to mention regarding the previous topic is that if we remembered, and I think it's written here as well, but if we remember last week portion, Yitzhak was 40 years old when he met Rivka. And when the Yaakov and Esau were born, it was 20 years later. Yeah. So the scripture is in silent mode regarding that period of time, but we don't know for how long they were trying to get the kids. 20 years passed by. So all this story about the Rivka going, asking YaHuWaH and asking Yitzhak also to pray for her, we don't know for how long they were praying. So the point that I wanted to make is that sometimes we are in this generation. Well, the newest one in this time is worse than us, our generation. But we are this kind of people that we are. Okay. Thank you. We are this kind of people that we are impatient, that we want things to happen like this immediately. But the YaHuWaH doesn't work like that. Everything has their own time. We were discussing about this on the previous portions a few weeks ago about Abraham, that he was waiting years. YaHuWaH was appearing to him after many years. It didn't happen day after the other. Years passed by in order to get the promises done, and he was able to see the promises. So sometimes we should not grow impatient. We need to continue with faith, seeking YaHuWaH, knowing that He is the one bringing healing, that He is the one bringing His promises, even though that we need to wait more than we expect. We need to wait on Him. And regarding your point, you know, I was while you were talking, I remember the situation we faced with a close family that was related to an inheritance, and that something similar happened with this story. And we were thinking, you know, one brother sold his part of the inheritance to other brother, and it was in a very small amount of money compared to what they finally sold the property. And we were analyzing that situation to the light of the scripture that happened, I don't know, a few months ago. And, you know, the final result is that it seems that to the eyes of YaHuWaH, we can do any kind of transaction for sure that is aligned to the commandments and the righteousness of the kingdom, and it's going to be at the end, let me put it in this way, negotiation between the two people, and if both agrees, it's okay. You know, later on, or people that are around or outside, that they're going to say, no,
you
but
were a foolish guy.
yeah, you're a foolish, or you were deceiving this guy, you were trying to take advantage of this guy. But to YaHuWaH, it depends on what happening between the two. Or between the people involved in the situation.
Yeah.
If the people involved in the situation, it could be two person or more than two people, or more than that. If they agree and they sign a contract or they sign an agreement, or they gave their word, it's more than enough. It doesn't matter what the other people said. For sure, everything in the context of the righteousness that we know is in the scripture, the righteousness of the kingdom. If there's some agreement between the two that is outside the righteousness, for sure this is wrong at the eyes of YaHuWaH. But there is nothing wrong, and it's in the areas of the righteousness described in the scripture. It doesn't matter what the type of deal they are closing together. It depends on what's the agreement between them both. That happened, in the story of this close family that we are talking. And also, it's exactly what happened here. So we are nobody to say that, no, God was a deceiver, that he was stealing this and took advantage. Because he was very, actually, the book of Yasher said that Esau was coming after fighting and killing Nimrod. That's why he was almost dying, and they needed food.
And when you are hungry, anything, a piece of bread is like something that you need.
Yeah, exactly. So at the end, he was asking this, and it was Esau's fault that he agreed on doing something that at the end he regretted.
Yeah.
So that's why we need to be so careful on what we say and what we promise, what we committed, and what we commit to. Because we need to keep our words.
Yeah, he could have said, I don't know, my birthright was 1,000 times more than what you are offering me. So they could have made a better deal for Esau.
But at least you need to give me some dessert.
Yeah, okay. Or you're going to cook for me the whole year. I don't know. But it was his fault that he accepted.
Yeah. Without making fun or beside making fun on this. I think the bottom line of this, and also in addition to what I said, that the agreement between the two and the words between the two, the most important thing is that we should, and this is, I think we mentioned it a few weeks ago as well, we should value what Abba is giving us,
not despising.
And I think it was last week that we spent a bit on this point. YaHuWaH is giving us so much things, and I think that's the inner interpretation or the inner information about this thing is that Abba is giving us so much things that we need to value them. We cannot despise these things. And to the contrary, if we look here from the side of Yaakov, if we see things that are valued, we need to seek them. We need to heal them. Mira, una araña chiquitita. So.
Pero me la tengo que llevar.
Yeah, little spider. Yes, just a little spider wanted to join us in the broadcast, in the study. So, in the case of Yaakov, he saw something that he valued, and he wanted that for him.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what we see in the parable of the hidden treasure.
Yeah. Yeah, the person who ensured that he is in the best position to buy it.
Yeah.
And to have it.
I found something I wanted for me. I'm gonna sell everything that I own in order to buy that field.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, was the attitude of Yaakov. He was not trying to deceive. He was quite straightforward,
the
direct,
opportunity.
transparent. He saw the opportunity. I offer you this.
Yeah.
Do you agree? The other one agreed.
Yeah, because the other one was starving, so he was going to do maybe anything for that plant of lentils.
So our attitude should be the one from YaHuWaH, that we see value on things that Abba is giving us and the promises, and we want to do whatever is in our hands. That
we don't.
Whatever is in our hands in order to get it. Yeah, we just saw
The spider.
the chat from Camila of the spider, and actually, you know, the spider in the chat, it was very similar in size and
everything,
and form. But anyways, so that's I think what I see in this portion. We need to have the attitude of Yaakov. We need to push and try to get the promises and these value things that the Abba is giving to us. So let's move on. Let's go back to Genesis, Bereshit. This is, and we go to the chapter 26.
Yeah.
You want to read it?
Okay. And it says, if there was a scarcity of food in the land beside the first scarcity of food, which was in the days of Abraham, and Yitzhak went to Abimelech, sovereign of the Philistines, in Gerar. And YaHuWaH appeared to him and said, do not go down to Mizraim. Live in the land which I command you. Sojourn in this land, and I shall be with you and bless you. For I give all these lands to you and your seed, and I shall establish the oath which I swore to Abraham your father. And I shall increase your seed like the stars of the heavens, and I shall give all these lands to your seed. And in your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. Because Abraham obeyed my voice and guarded my charge, my commands, my laws, and my Torah. And Yitzhak dwelt in Gerar.
Let me make a comment because I think it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
What I see here that is really is caught my attention is a kind of a parallel of the renewed covenant, because it's the same thing that happened with the Israel and the two generations of Israel, and we see this happening generation after generation. Even, with the renewed covenant through the hand of Yahushua HaMashiach, we see exactly the same. Father is renewing this with the coming generation. So that's interesting, because it could be, and then this is just coming to my heart, it could be that why YaHuWaH is doing this is because he is somehow opening the door for the new generation to enter in the covenant. It's not, wow, and this is I haven't seen this in the past. We talked a few weeks ago that our salvation somehow depends on us. Nobody else can work our salvation. We need to work our salvation. So why I'm saying this is that if my father enter into the covenant with YaHuWaH, it doesn't mean that I am in that covenant too. Somehow, yes, I'm part of his seed, but it depends on me if I'm gonna stay, I'm gonna renew, I'm gonna commit to that covenant or not. So that's why I think YaHuWaH is doing exactly the same, and that speaks a lot. Is that every generation needs to do their own effort in order to enter into that covenant, in order to work out their own salvation. What do you think?
And that even for us, it should be even more clear, because we have seen this pattern going on during all these generations. So for us, it should be easier to do that choice, to enter into the covenant, because we see always a generation is going to have a famine. Maybe it's going to be on a spiritual level. Maybe it's going to be in a physical level. We're going to face some difficulties. But the only need that we are going to receive is when we are going to be close to our Father, when we're going to look for Him. And He is going to open that little door for us so we can also enter there.
And And the beautiful part is that is opening the door, that Abba is opening the door for the new generation to enter into the covenant, but he's reinforcing the blessings. You know, because it says in the first, it says YaHuWaH appeared to him. He was guiding him on what to do and what not to do. And this is also an important thing. When we seek YaHuWaH, we are allowing him to enter and guide our steps. He was saying, do not go to Mizraim, to Egypt. And he's reinforcing the promises on the verse 4, I shall increase your seed like the stars of the heavens. It was exactly the same promise that he gave to Abraham. And I shall give all these lands to your seed, and in your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. That's why, you know, when we see in the scripture saying the Elohim of Abraham, Yitzhak,
and Jacob,
because he appeared and he reinforced and he closed, and both of the three of them entered into the covenant with YaHuWaH. And the interesting thing when we see it in this way, that the new generations needs to enter into the covenant, or into covenant with YaHuWaH, that we see what is the conditions, what we need to do, and what are the reasons in order to get into the covenant. And it's what is written in the verse 5. Because it says, I have 3 notes here. Abraham obeyed my voice, so we're talking about obedience. Is to obey the voice of YaHuWaH. Second, he guarded my charge. And what it means to guard his charge is to be a servant. You know, the other part that we see guarding the charge is talking about if I remember well, it's talking about the Kohanim, the priests.
When they have a mission, and that is...
they needed to guard the charge in the Mishkan, in the tabernacle. So it's basically to serve YaHuWaH. So Abraham obeyed, he served YaHuWaH, and also he guarded the commands, the laws, and the Torah. So there are 3 conditions that we need to meet in order to get into the covenant. Those 3. So it's the reinforcement once again that, you know, we need to enter into the covenant. And the way to do it is by doing the same thing that Abraham did. Anything you want to comment?
That I think that for the coming generation, it should be more easier because they already saw their example that the ancestors had made. So I don't know if, do you remember the time that when I told you what happened with the little the kittens when they are born, and even though they are separated from their mothers and everything, they by instinct they know how to do with the number 2 and everything is because they already have it in their ADN. DNA ADN in español, DNA. So I think that is something like this, that you need 3 generations, that when you start something is going to be trespassed to the second, and then to the third, because it's going to be implanted.
That's why he said that he will curse to the 3rd and 4th generations. So the same thing should be with the blessings.
In the blessings, in the other side. So I think for the 2nd and the 3rd generation should be even more easy to keep it. Why? Because you already see that the other person already made a change of life, already has making all the effort. I think that for the first person who will start this journey, maybe it's the most difficult one. And then the rest should be doing even better and thanking, giving thanks that the ancestor could start it this way, this path.
Yeah, that's a good word.
Yeah.
Let's continue. Verse 6.
And Yitzhak dwelt in Gerar. And when the man of the place asked about his wife, he said, she's my sister. For he was afraid to say, she's my wife, thinking, lest the man of the place should kill me for Rivka, because she is good looking. And it came to be, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, sovereign of the Philistines, looked through a window, and he watched and saw Yitzhak playing with Rivka, his wife. So Abimelech called Yitzhak and said, see, truly she's your wife, so how could you say she's my sister? And Yitzhak said to him, because I said, lest I die on account of her. And Abimelech said, "What is this you have done to us? One of the people had almost lain with your wife, and you would have brought guilt on us." And Abimelech commanded all his people, saying, "He who touches this man or his wife shall certainly be put to death."
Well,
It's the same
story
that his father...
There's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah. And I think that he has a lot of learning.
Actually, let me make a comment here, because the first time that I read this, I was a little bit confused, talking, how come, it's the same Abimelech, that is the same person, that he could remember what happened with Abraham. Well, the book of Yasher is giving us more light on this, because it mentioned, I don't remember what chapter, it mentions that this was the son of the previous one. And actually, they call the son according to the name of his father, Abimelech.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, The father had the two sons had the same story like their own fathers.
And maybe that is something that is talking to us, that like son, maybe we're going to face the same problems that our fathers did, and we are the ones that we have to if, I don't know, for some reason they fail on some point, we have to do all the things to make it better. And it
could be totally connected to what you said a minute ago about the blessings and also the curses. Maybe the coming generations will need to go through similar situations in order to test their heart, to see if 3 generations are gonna commit to YaHuWaH.
Yeah.
Or it could be that maybe it's something that the previous generation failed. The second one needs to go through in order to test them. I don't know, because it's weird. It's weird that this is happening exactly the same.
Yeah, because they say, I don't know, they said, for instance, if you have a family that they have deal with alcoholism or I don't know, any kind of problem, the son usually is going to be, or is going to repeat the story, or is the one who is going to do a complete and different path. So I think that we as a son, we have to take into account all the experiences that our parents have lived.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I was telling you when we were studying about this point that for me it's interesting when we think on this parallel we talked last week between Sarah and Rivka representing Jerusalem as a barren woman. We see here that a penalty of death being instructed or mentioned in case anybody wanted to touch her or touch him, he was going to die. And then when we think in Jerusalem, we know, based on what is written in the prophets mainly, is that Jerusalem become a whore where many men from many nations were touching her. And the parallel is interesting because at the end of times, YaHuWaH is bringing punishment and is bringing death to those nations because of what they did to Jerusalem. So it's a kind of similar to what what is written here when we think Rivka as a picture of Jerusalem. And it's the same thing with Yitzhak as a representation of Israel somehow, where the nation has been beaten down during so many years, and that's why Yahushua is coming to restore everything, to restore the people, and also to repay those ones that are repaying Israel somehow in a bad way. So let's continue.
And Yitzhak sowed in the land and reaped in the same year 100-fold, and YaHuWaH blessed him. And the man grew great and went forward until he became very great. And he came to have possessions of flocks and possessions of herds and a great body of servants. And the Philistines envied him. And the Philistines had stopped up all the wells which his father's servant had dug in the days of Abraham his father, and filled them with dirt. That's bad. And Abimelech said to Yitzhak, "Go away from us, for you are much mightier than we." So Yitzhak went from there and pitched his tent in the Wadi Gerar and dwelt there. And Yitzhak dug again the wells of water which they had dug in the days of Abraham his father, for the Philistine has stopped them up after the death of Abraham. And he called them by the names which his father had called them. But when Yitzhak's servants dug in the wadi and found a well of running water there, the herdsman of Gerar strove with Yitzhak herdsman, saying, "The water is ours." And he called the name of the well Esek, because they strove with him. And they dug another well, and they strove over that one too, and he called its name Sidnah. And he moved from there and dug another well, and they did not strive over it. And he called its name Rehovot, and said, "For now YaHuWaH has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land." And from there he went up to Beersheba. Do you want to share something about the three wells?
All the 3 wells. Let's see what we have here.
It's a kind of evolution.
What do you mean?
Because in the first two instances, they have a lot of fighting, because they were fighting because of the water. Even though Yitzhak was the one who was, Yitzhak people were the one who were digging this well, the other person who were living, the other people who were living there, they were saying that the water is of them, and they have this problem. And it was until they have no problem, because you cannot dig a well here and then the other well in next to the other.
No.
You have to move.
Yeah.
So at the end, in the third occasion, on the third instance, and that moment, the fighting was stopped. So for me, it means that he was in a considerable distance now with the people. So I don't know, for me, I think that sometimes you have to avoid that kind of situation. If you are living in a place and you have a lot of I don't know, a fight and a lot of issues, you have to move a little bit. Maybe that is the water of contention.
Yeah.
And you have to look water in a place when you're not going to have that contention. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that's a
thought that
good
it
one.
was a kind of evolution, that he has to move until his life at least was in peace again.
We need to be in a place where we have peace.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. And we know that the
YaHuWaH,
water is a basic need. So
yeah, and YaHuWaH will bless us in that place where we have peace. He will guide us whatever we have to go.
And sometimes that fighting is because we need to move.
Yes, that's true. That's true. You know, I have faced this on my own life and different aspects that when we see, we feel it in the heart when we need to move out because the situation is not good. Actually, you were fighting on the same in the past, but you were feeling that you need to in your last job, you needed to stay there. Yeah. So that's why we need to be open with our ears open, eyes open to what YaHuWaH is guiding us to do. But most of the time, I agree with you, when we see this kind of difficulties and contentions, because we need to move out and seek our own peace, and we'll get the blessings of YaHuWaH. Yeah, one thing I wanted to share about this, and I think is the right moment to make a pause here, is before continue reading. It's about the water, and because we see here that the people started to stop the wells.
Yeah, and that was really mean.
Yeah, this is so much effort to dig a well, and also it's water, you know, in those places water is something, so it's a priority.
Yeah.
So why they did that, and actually so beautiful to see that Yitzhak was trying to restore what his father did. And you know, I haven't that is a nice when things like this happen, because I didn't see this before the broadcast, is that it's a picture of Mashiach. You know, Abba dug some wells, fountains of waters, that the people came and felt filled with dirt, so they stopped the well. And Mashiach came, and people in this case is a representation of the Pushim, the Pharisees, and the religions of the world that stopped those waters, living waters coming, or the providing life. And Mashiach came in order to open them again.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful picture that we didn't see before. It's a representation of Mashiach, and you know, we are the servants of Yishak, in this case, the servants of Mashiach, that are digging in order to get that water, that living water. And actually, it's beautiful because it says later on in the chapter, it's running water.
Yeah.
And running water is this living water, basically. And we are those servants. The responsibility to make the hole in the earth and to dig in order to get the water. So that's what I see. And what is Avimelech? Is the world. And we have this contention with the world, even with men. It could be religions, it could be whatever it is that is going against of the purpose of YaHuWaH of bringing life and the purpose that he has put in our hearts in order to be a vessels and the servants that is helping in order to bring that life to the world. And you know, and that picture in terms of the water, and this is what I wanted to say, the water actually, you know, the picture of Mashiach that is even much more beautiful to what I prepared, is that we see few passages in the scripture about water, and let's look into it. It says in the book of Yirmiyahu, chapter 2, verse 13. It says the following: "For my people have done two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, to hew out for themselves cisterns, cracked cisterns, which do not hold water." So there is a declaration of YaHuWaH that who is the fountain of living waters is He. And He says that the people have done two evils. You know, they have somehow forsaken and they have looked into another place.
And you know what is the difference? I don't know, in English is the same, but in Spanish, living water is vertiente. Is when the water comes out from the earth.
Spring.
It's a spring. So the other one, you have to dig to look for it.
Yeah.
How you are going to, I don't know, dismiss this one that is coming out and is not, you cannot even stop it.
And
it's going to be forever.
A cistern is something that is to hold the water.
To hold the water. And
so basically they are holding the water in some place. They have built this for themselves, but this is not enough.
And what happens when you hold the water in one place? With the time, if you don't use it, or it's going to be get bad. Yeah. So in the other case, you have a spring of water that you can go there and take water at any time. And if you the flavor of the spring water is totally different.
You know, even in the same book, in the chapter 17, verse 13, it says the same thing. "O YaHuWaH, the expectation of Israel, all who forsake you are put to shame. Those who depart from me shall be written in the earth, because they have forsaken YaHuWaH, the fountain of living waters." So, you know, when we see, and actually let's see in the book of Matthew. Let's go to chapter 23, my favorite chapter in Matthew. Actually, there's many chapters that I like, but this one is so beautiful. And it is written in the verse 13, is something that Yahushua was speaking and debating and charging the Pharisees that were doing. "But woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! because you shut up the rain of the heavens before men, for you do not go in, nor do you allow those who are entering to go in. So that's what maybe religions, societies, people have done. Is the same thing that the servants of Abimelech were put in dirt, just covering.
So nobody's going
to
be receive the benefits.
Exactly, nobody's gonna receive the life that is coming from the water. It's exactly what they were doing and what YaHuWaH was speaking to them. What we need to do is exactly the opposite: is to open it in order for that water, living water, to come out. It is the same thing that Moses was doing in the wilderness. He was knocking and hitting the rock. He should speak to the rock only, but he was beating the rock, and the water, living water, came out from the earth.
Like shower.
So that's another picture of what is our responsibility. The living water is YaHuWaH himself. And there's another reference here when we talk about the water, just to understand and do the parallels with the story that I think is so powerful and beautiful, because it represents what we need to do and what is our purpose and what YaHuWaH wants to do as well. So let's go to the book of Yeshayahu. This is Isaiah. What it is here. Chapter 44. Let's read verse 1 to 5. It says, "But now," do you want to read it?
No.
But now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus said YaHuWaH, who made you and formed you from the womb, who helps you. Do not fear, O Jacob, my servant, and Yeshurun, whom I have chosen. For I pour water on the thirsty, and floods on the dry ground. I pour my spirit on your seed, and my blessing on your offspring, and they shall spring up among the grass like willows by streams of water. Let's keep it until there. So, it's so beautiful in the way that he's connecting, because he's saying pouring water on the thirsty and floods on the dry ground. And then he started to talk about pouring his spirit on their seed and the blessings on your offspring. For me, it's a parallel of what he's saying. The water is his spirit, and the floods, the blessings. And the result of that one is that they shall spring up among the grass like willows by a stream of water. And you remember the passage that I read on the...
about Yitzhak and
about in the 58, about the fasting. It's a
okay.
direct connection, and we are going to read it, because, we see here the water. YaHuWaH is the fountain of living water. The water we see here in Yeshayahu is his spirit, and the flood that this water is coming, is bringing is blessing. And the result of that is just we are going to be like grass next to the river. So let me read the chapter 58, and I don't know what it is, in what verse, but we are going to look into it.
Oh, no?
Yes, that one. And actually, let me read it together. Do you want to read it? I'm speaking too much.
From?
Let's just to read the context. Let's read from 1 to 13.
Yeah?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Cry aloud, do not spare. Lift up your voice like the shofar. Declare to my people their transgression, and the house of Yaakov their sins. Yet they seek me day by day, and delight to know my ways, as a nation that did righteousness, and did not forsake the right ruling of their Elohim. They ask of me rulings of righteousness. They delight in drawing near to Elohim. They say, we have fasted, and you have not seen. Why have we afflicted our beings, and you took no note? Look, in the day of your fasting you find pleasure, and drive on all your laborers. Look, you fast for strife and contention, and to strike with the fist of wrongness. You do not fast as you do this day, to make your voice heard on high. It is a fast that I have chosen, a day for a man to afflict his being. It is to bow down his head like a bulrush? Bulrush?
I think so.
And to spread out sackcloth and ashes? Do you call this a fast? And an acceptable day to YaHuWaH? Is this not the fast that I have chosen, to loosen the tight cords of wrongness, to undo the bands of the yoke, to exempt the oppressed, and to break off every yoke? It is not to share your bread with the hungry, and that you bring to your house the poor who are cast out, when you see the naked and cover him, and not hide yourself from your own flesh? Then your light would break forth like the morning, your healing spring forth speedily, and your righteousness shall go before you. The esteem of YaHuWaH would be your rear guard. Then when you call, YaHuWaH would answer. When you cry, he would say, Here I am. If you take away the yoke from your midst, the pointing of the finger and the speaking of unrighteousness, if you extend your being to the hungry and satisfy the afflicted being, then your light shall dawn in the darkness, and your darkness be as noon.
So the context here, beside that he's talking about the fasting and so on, he's talking about the righteousness. What he is calling us to do is to live according to his righteousness, his compassion. It doesn't say that we should not fast. That's not the topic, and I'm not going to expand on that item, because the reason that we're bringing this example is about water, the ruach, and the manifestation somehow of the ruach, and the results of that with the blessings, the flooding, and to be like a garden. But we see here in the connections that he's talking that we should act in righteousness and compassion. And if we live according to the righteousness, let's see what's going to happen. And this is written in the verse 11. Let me read this last two. It says, Then YaHuWaH would guide you continually if we live in righteousness and we live in compassion. If we do everything that he is teaching us that we need to live for and live with, the result will be is that then YaHuWaH would guide you continually and satisfy your being in drought and strengthen your bones. And you shall be like a watered garden and like a spring of water whose waters do not fail. So if we live and we put in practice the righteousness of the kingdom of YaHuWaH, we are going to become like a spring of water. Is exactly what the example you gave. A spring of water that is a living, running water that is providing life. And we are going to become, is the same thing that we were reading in the chapter 44, like a water garden or grass that is close to the river, that is always green. So what's so interesting, and just with that I'm going to finish, is because Yahushua was speaking about the same, and we know this by heart in the chapter 7 of the book of Yahuchanan and John. It says in the verse 37 and 38, And on the last day, the great day of the festival, Yahushua stood and cried out, saying, If anyone thirsts, let him come to me, and let him who believes in me drink. You know, he's declaring himself as the fountain of water as well. And that's so beautiful because of the connection, understanding that the hardness between YaHuWaH and Yahushua. As the scripture said, out of his innermost shall flow river of living water. And this he said concerning the Spirit, which those believing in him were about to receive. For the set apart Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, was not yet given, because Yahushua was not yet steamed. So, just to summarize the whole story, we need to go to the fountain of living water. This is exactly what Yitzhak was doing. And you know what came to my mind is that those that are stopping the fountain of the wells could be, as we said, religions, people, society, the system of the world, you name it. But also can be us. We ourselves could be putting some dirt in the well. It says in the innermost that living water will come, will flow from within us. And we can be doing exactly the opposite, trying to cover with dirt that fountain. How we do that, and how we avoid to do that. What do you think?
How we do that? When we put our focus in anything that is not YaHuWaH.
Exactly. When we don't follow, then that's why it's the connection with the righteousness. If we follow righteousness, we will become a spring of water. If we don't follow righteousness, we will be putting dirt in that fountain. The fountain we won't give water. But I fully agree with you. When we focus, maybe we are doing righteousness. I was praying about that this morning, because it's happening to me, and I'm sorry I'm putting myself as an example, but I think sometimes it's important that we speak about our
because what is
constraints and
happening
so
to
on.
you, it could be happening to
Sometimes
the rest.
I get so busy and so entertained on things in the day-to-day that no matter, and that was part of my prayer this morning, no matter that we follow, and I follow righteousness, I mean in the context of His word in righteousness, the attitude is not the right, and most importantly, the focus is not the right. Because one thing, and it is something that it was in my heart for the month ago to do the study about loving YaHuWaH with all the heart and mind and strength, is that if we put our focus somewhere else, no matter that we're walking in righteousness, I think we are not letting that water to flow in. Because you feel it. I feel it in my own experience. I feel it. If I put my focus in something else, I don't feel that water running. To the opposite, when my focus plus walking in righteousness, but when my focus is in the right direction, you feel it. You feel that the living water within you, that's basically the spring, the spring of waters that is from YaHuWaH. Is YaHuWaH Himself, His Spirit, that is gonna serve His purpose in order to give life to the world. Anything you want to add to that? You look tired. And,
I look tired.
It's a bit hot here.
Yeah, it's a bit hot. Looks like a sauna. And I think that all the troubles that we are facing and all that kind of emotional phases that we are living are showing us how difficult it is to try to do things far away from YaHuWaH. Because even though we know that He is with us and He is beside us and fighting for us, I think that it's going to be so different when His kingdom is established, when everything that is not worthy or everything that should not be here is going to be destroyed and is not going to be existing anymore. Because the balance is going to be here, YaHuWaH, and everything is perfect. So I think that maybe these fights that we are experiencing are needed just for us to realize and to plead for Him to come again and rescue us as soon as possible.
Yeah, I just checked the chat, and it seems that something that we mentioned, it was a confirmation from somebody else. That's good, and that's like the way that YaHuWaH works within all of us. One thing that happened to me in the morning when I was praying as well, I don't know why I woke up so early. It was dawn already. You were sleeping. And after the crazy week, it was tough. I was devastated, actually, of all the hard work we have. But I woke up. And when I was praying, I was looking into the window, to the trees and so on. You can see in the background. And these golondrinas, ¿cómo decíamos que se llamaban? Swallows? I think it's swallows. This is a bird, swallows, that coming on the spring and somehow. I think that's the name in English. It started to fly around. And it's the same thing that they were playing, trying to touch and flying around. And was two first, then the two more appear and started to play the fourth, and then it was 5 and 6. And then flying around the house and almost trying to get in the house through the window, and flying very close to
they're
the
flying
roof.
right now. Yeah.
Actually, they're flying.
I think that they have a house there.
Yeah, I think so, in the roof. And yes, it's barn swallows. Yes, those one. They're beautiful, in the way that they fly. And I was, praying with my eyes open because I wanted to see the picture, the green and so on, the sun coming out, and I started to see the birds. And that's why I included part of my prayer at the beginning of the study. And because I started to observe the birds like I did it in the past. I used to drive the car and look into the birds, and that was bringing joy. Salud.
Sorry.
And I felt the joy again.
Yeah, they're like
It's something that's so small things when you observe and put your focus on what you are seeing, and you see the beauty of what YaHuWaH has created. You see how beautiful everything He has done, that no matter that, maybe because of no reason, I started to feel that joy in my heart just to see these little animals, how they are flying and playing around, and how Abba is so good that He is giving us everything in order to enjoy ourselves. That, I started to feel that joy in my heart, and immediately in my face. I was smiling immediately. When we were discussing at the beginning of the study about these little miracles you always tell me, those are the little miracles that sometimes we disregard, that we don't see. But when we open our eyes and we see, we are going to be able to feel the joy of YaHuWaH in our hearts.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just a brief moment, but that is a glimpse of what is coming.
Because we can, I don't know, in the way that I feel it, every time that happened to me, things like that, is that we are able to perceive YaHuWaH all around us. That and that was part of my prayer, that He's so good to us, that He, when those situations happen, and we are able to open our eyes, ears, and understanding, and we see those kind of things, we are able to see that YaHuWaH is present in everywhere, in nature, in the birds, in the sky, in the sun, within us. And when we are able to perceive that, is the moment that we can understand what it means to be ahad with Him.
Yeah.
And we need to enjoy those times, and we need to seek those times with Him. Well, I don't know why I mentioned that, but it came out. So, I have anything else prepared. The next chapter is really interesting, because it's what happened with Esau and the blessings and so on. I don't know, you want to read it or to share something?
To share, maybe. That it was in...
We didn't finish chapter 26. I don't know, there was this story and the covenant between the Philistines, and do you want to mention something about that? No?
No, here is mentioned that at the end it mentions that Esau, he got married with two of the Hittites women, and that was something that was a bitterness in the spirit of Rivka, especially on Rivka, and it was something that I think that it was even going to tell us about what is going to happen next.
Yeah. And that's bitterness, and I think it also is a description, if we think on Rivka's Jerusalem, is the bitterness of mixing with the system of the world. And I think this is happening even to us, if we think in our own lives. if we are lukewarm and we have one foot in the system of the world and the other foot in the kingdom, we are going to feel the same kind of bitterness because within us we are not fully on the kingdom and in the path of YaHuWaH.
Yeah. So now, if that is at the end of the 26th, so we can continue in this 27.
And 27, I have it here on the screen. So it's the whole story. I don't know if you want to read it, but we can talk about that. Let's see. We know this story by heart. So the whole story is basically Rivka convincing Yaakov, go and...
But why? Because she heard when it was Isaac that was very old. And he realized that maybe he's going to die soon. And he called his son Esau. And he told him, can you go and do some hunting and prepare me a dish? So I'm going to be so happy that I'm going to bless you.
And Rivka convinced Yaakov.
But because she heard that conversation.
But that's why she convinced, that it's important. She convinced Yaakov to do it.
Yeah.
Because most of the people believe that he wanted to do it. No, it was Rivka, the one convincing Yaakov to go and try to get the blessing.
And do you know why? Or do you think what was the reason that she did that? Because even she was willing to accept any curse that could come from that situation.
In the book of Jubilees or Yasher, it says that there was a previous story between Abraham and Rivka. And Abraham was telling Rivka that the promise he got was going to happen through Yaakov, not through Esau.
Yeah, it could be.
And if we see this in the previous passages, it was Yitzhak loving Esau because of the food that he was bringing to him, and Rivka was loving Yaakov. And it says that Yaakov was a complete man. If we read the other books, a complete man means that he learned how to write, how to read. He was studying the commandments. The other one was dedicated just to hunting and to live outdoors somehow, to say so. So I think that could be one of the reasons. Maybe Rivka also saw that in Yaakov was the, continuation of what he saw on... Keep in mind that based on what we read in the book of Yasher, she also knew Shem. She also knew Eber. She knew Abraham. So she saw servants of YaHuWaH in the way they lived. So maybe she saw something in Yaakov similar to what she saw on the other ones, but she didn't see the same in Esau.
Yeah.
And beside that, she saw and she was bitter within herself because Esau decided to go and mix himself with the women of Canaan.
Yeah.
So that could be a strong reason on why she said, how come this one is going to get the blessing when the promises of YaHuWaH should go through Yaakov?
And I think that also maybe that is something that everybody knew about what happened when Yaakov exchanged the dish of lentils with Esau, and then he promised to give his birthright. So at the moment when that is going to be executed, what she is doing, I think as a mother, if I saw that situation, and then I see that the son that already saw that right, he's going to receive it anyway, I would have done something also, because it's not they were not Esau was not fulfilling his part of the deal, because he wanted to receive it anyway. So he was not going to keep his promise.
That's a good point.
So I think that she also felt, and maybe I think that she was always asking of YaHuWaH, as we can see in the past. So I think that she was a person who was being also an instrument on the hands of YaHuWaH. So maybe what she felt was the need of doing things right, even though there is a kind of tricky things, that because she took the clothes that she has from Esau in the house. She took some pieces of the skin of the little.
And maybe
clothes.
that's why she declared this. And in the verse 12, what if my father touches me? Jacob was very concerned. And then I shall be like a deceiver in his eyes, and shall bring curse on myself and not a blessing. What was her answer? But his mother said to him, let your curse be on me, my son. Only obey my voice and go. Get them for me. You know, if we put it in the context of the commandments, it says that respect your mother and your father and your mother.
Yeah. So at the end,
it was an instruction. Do this.
Yeah. And she gave everything, and she prepared everything.
Yeah.
So that is very interesting.
She was the mastermind.
Yeah, maybe behind the scenes. Yeah. So it's interesting that she was so insistent in that the things were going to be in the good way. And the other thing that called my attention is that she looked 3 aspects in advance. And those aspects were about the touching, about the clothing, and maybe she did it for a reason. And when we read about how was the conversation between Yitzhak when Yaakov arrived with the stew or with the meal, he said, well, you how come that you have done all this so fast? And the first thing that he said, it was because I asked for help from YaHuWaH, your Elohim, Abba. It's like, well, that's a good answer. And then Yitzhak said, well, the voice is like the Yaakov, but when I touch him, I touch the hands of Esau, because he was wearing all this the hairy. Yeah. And then he asked him, well, please give me the dish, and I'm going to eat, I'm going to drink, and after that I'm going to kiss you and give you the blessing. And he drank, he ate and everything, and then he kissed him with the purpose of smelling. And the smelling came from the clothing that he has. And then I found it very interesting, because I think that it's some kind of way, maybe a very crazy way, our Father is doing the same with us. He first recognizes our voice. Or he is going to see what is going to be our answer, what we are going to say. Then he's going maybe to see the form that we have. Because when you don't see, usually you use your hand. And I think that's why he looked on something that he could recognize. Maybe he had done something in our body. He formed us. And that is why when I believe today generation are so worried about changing almost everything, because you don't like it, because you don't like how you were created, because you are disgusting with your nose, or because some people don't get conformed with something. Maybe that something is unique. Is unique, and it's the way that our Father is going to recognize us. I don't know. It's something that I was thinking about. And then the other is the smell. And when YaHuWaH always is speaking about that, our prayers are a sweet fragrance for him. So I think that it's also a kind of connection there. So
that's beautiful. Yeah, that's a beautiful picture. You know, because when I was thinking on this earlier, it's in a picture like we are the Jacob or Esau, and Abba is Yitzhak. Is that he wants to bless us. Yeah, he wants to give us a blessing. But in order to give a blessing, in order to get the blessing, we need to get closer to him. Yeah. And if we get closer to him, now connecting to what you said, we need to get closer with certain conditions or certain things. So he's gonna, as you said, it's a beautiful picture. And what we say, he's going to hear us, he's going to touch us. And he does, he touches. Yes. And also the smell the prayers. I like it.
And the other thing that called my attention is the way that the different blessings that he gave, because then he gave the blessing of Yaakov, and that is something that I would like to read. Is in the 26. It says, and his father, it was after he ate and drank. And his father Yitzhak said to him, please come near and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his garment, and blessed him and said, this is the blessing. See, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field, which YaHuWaH has blessed. And Elohim give you of the dew of the heavens, of the fatness of the earth, and plenty of grain and wine. Let peoples serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be master of over your brothers, and let your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be those cursing you, and blessed be those blessing you. Y esa fue, sorry, and that was the.
That's next 3 hours more.
Yeah, and that was the blessing that he gave to Yaakov, thinking that was for Esau, and then. We know that happened, that after he finished this, his brother Esau came and he realized, and his father, and he was offering the plate and everything, and he said, no, I already ate. So then who was the one that I receiving the blessing? And then Esau was very mad, with the whole situation, and he was saying, Father, but please bless me. And he said, I cannot do it because I already blessed your brother. And he was insisting, but do you have anything that you can bless me, because I need a blessing? And then it came the blessing in the chapter, in the verse 39, in the same,
Which one?
39. Yeah. And it says, and Yitzhak his father answered and said to him, this is the blessing that he received. See, your dwelling is on the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of the heavens from above. And by your sword you are to live, and serve your brothers. And it shall be, when you grow restless, that you shall break his yoke from your neck. And if I made a comparison, well, there is a part that he didn't receive, because and the other said, that Elohim give you the dew of the heavens and the fatness of the earth. But it's for Yaakov, it put the dew of the heavens and the fatness of the earth. So if you took and imagine that, first you have a blessing from the heavens and then of the earth. And when he was giving the blessing for Yaakov, here it says, see, your dwelling is Esau, sorry. And it says, see, this your dwelling is of the fatness of the earth and of the dew of the heavens from above. So it's in the other way around, in the other order. Okay. So I think that also has maybe some implication.
Yeah, most probably.
That maybe for Yaakov is going to be, the calling is going to be from a heavenly point of view. And maybe the other brother Esau is going to be on an earthly way.
Finish.
And no, then why this? Because then I think that at one point Esau, even though he was not the person who was going to carry the mission of the blessing and everything, at one point he's going to realize that he has to change all his ways. And that is
it's at the end, it's in the verse in the chapter 28.
Is in the other,
Before we go there, because I think that's gonna be a beautiful way to finish the study today, is that while you were saying about this difference on the blessings and so on, and also in the food that Esau came in and so on.
Yeah, and one was going to have peace, and the other was going to be in continual quarrel and fighting and things like that.
It came to mind the offerings of Cain and Abel. And also because, let's see, it was a wild game, the one from Esau, and what the Rivka said 2 goats. go to the flock and bring me 2 choice young goats. So it came to mind the offerings of the Kohanim, the priests. So instead of doing it with a wild game, and this case most probably was a kosher food, was a deer or something like that. It's interesting, this morning was reading about that. I had a screen opened about the difference between lamb and mouton. You remember? We discussed about that.
Yeah.
And the difference, this is funny actually that I was reading this now and I remembered when we're discussing this topic. Because it's said that the difference between lamb and mouton is the tenderness of the flesh,
Flavor.
and also the flavor.
Yeah.
And mouton is from a older animal, and it was written that the flavor is like a wild game. It's like deer, things like that.
Wow.
So you see, this is funny that this is totally related to this. So that's why, she was asking Jacob to go and take some animal from the flock, a goat. Most probably was an older animal, because it was going to taste similar to a deer or any wild game. The point is that it's interesting that she prepared this dish, and Jacob was bringing this to his father. For me, it's a kind of picture of the Kohanim, the priests, bringing the offerings to YaHuWaH and bringing them from the flock, from the goat or from the lambs. In the other one, it was bringing
from
anything else that is not what is being brought to YaHuWaH as an offering.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And it also said in the way that he likes it. And it's, I don't know if we read it now or it was before on some other time, when it says, according to my eyes, according to his eye, obey his commandment, according to his ways. It's not according to our ways. So it's according to how please YaHuWaH. So that is a complete difference. When we do something in how we think that he likes it, or when we live our lives in the ways that he really likes it.
You know what's another, this is really interesting, because one additional thing that came to mind in this comparison and this correlation is that Jacob was wearing his brother's clothes. He was wearing a different cloth that it wasn't his. The Kohanim were doing exactly the same. They were wearing a different cloth when they're serving YaHuWaH. They needed to change, the week, because they were serving in the temple or the Mishkan 1 week in the temple, actually, not in the tabernacle. In the temple, they were serving just one specific week in the priestly rotation they had. Yeah. And during that week, they were wearing a different type of cloth, of linen. The only one that they were wearing always the same type of cloth was the high priest. Yeah. But he was not leaving the place. Yeah. So it's interesting, because he came into the presence of his father with a dish prepared from an animal that is part of the offerings to YaHuWaH, and wearing a different cloth. And maybe this also represent that there was the fact that was the part of his brother. It's a kind of maybe taking the responsibility and the ownership of the role or something like that.
And I was telling you before, why Esau leave those clothes at her parents' house? Why he didn't have them with him? Yeah. So that was strange. It's like if I remember that it was who was talking about having his clothes off. It was Kepha, Peter. When Mashiach came and he was not, and he put in his garments again and he dived into the sea. So I think that it has something related that we have to keep our clothes and have it with us.
Yeah, I think we
Maybe
need
he
to
leave it there and somebody else is going to use it.
Yeah, I think there's more on that story on the area that we're discussing that it needs more attention, because most probably it's a picture of something
more deep,
much deeper. Yeah. So just to finish the broadcast, because we are at the past of the time, I think it is important. In the way that it's finishing. You want to read it?
Yeah, because that is why I think that Esau in the time, he has to do a change internally. When he heard this, what is coming from Yitzhak. And it says, and Esau saw that Yitzhak has blessed Yaakov. And, no, this one is, where is?
Is the last one, 8 and 9?
No, that is the finish, but it's what he says here. Yeah. Because it says, and Yitzhak called Yaakov and blessed him, and commanded him and said to him, do not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padan Aram, to the house of Bethuel your mother's father, and take a wife for yourself from there, from the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. And El Shaddai bless you, and make you fruitful, and increase you, and you shall become an assembly of peoples, and give you the blessing of Abraham to you and your seed with you, so that you inherit the land of your sojournings, which Elohim gave to Abraham. So Isaac sent Yaakov away, and he went to Padan Aram to Laban, son of Bethuel the Aramean, the brother of Rivka, the mother of Yaakov and Esau. And Esau saw that Yitzhak has blessed Yaakov, and sent him away to Padan Aram to take himself a wife from there, and that as he blessed him, he gave him a command, saying, do not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. And that Yaakov had obeyed his father and his mother, and he had gone to Padan Aram. So Esau saw that the daughters of Canaan did not please his father Yitzhak. And Esau went to Ishmael, and took Malahat, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebayot, to be his wife, beside the wives he had. I think that hearing the blessing,
he started to understand something.
Yeah, and seeing that his brother was obedient, because he immediately went and he was listening to his father, he realized that he was doing a lot of things that was displeasing to his parents. So from that moment, I think that
it's a kind of repentance somehow, in order to
he tried
to
fix it, but you have some story behind you. So
good way to finish. So I really hope that this has been a blessing to you. I was taking a look in the last chat, and I think this study has blessed most of you, has been blessing us too. So I really hope that you have enjoyed. As I said at the beginning, I will ask your contribution. I see 63 connected and 41 likes. Try to like this video so the word gets spread to more people. So thank you so much once again for joining us today. It has been a blessed time. We have been enjoying it. It's a little bit hot here, but it's good. It's good always to spend time with you all. And let's pray for one another. Have a wonderful end of Shabbat today. Have a wonderful week. And I hope to see you all next week. We will finish with a song. Let me prepare it, as we have always doing it. Until next week, YaHuWaH be with you all. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We love you all. See you next week. Bye.
your name.